Bonjour. Today we're looking at ER verbs and how they're conjugated in the present tense, but most particularly how you can listen out for them when they're not just in the je forms. We're going to be looking very quickly at how you do this for regular ER verbs, and then we're going to look at some of the ones that can cause problems, in particular the verbs that start with vowels, reflexive verbs, and a few irregular ones. Okay, so if you need to conjugate an ER verb in the present tense, you've probably seen this before. I wear, je porte. So the ER from the infinitive is replaced with an E. Je porte. Tu portes, ending in ES, you wear. Il ou elle porte, ending in E, he or she wears. Nous portons, we wear, with the ONS ending. Vous portez, with the EZ ending, that's you, formal or plural, wear, and il porte or elle porte for they wear, with the silent ENT ending. So just listen to those again and pay real attention to how those endings sound. Je porte, tu portes, il porte ou elle porte, nous portons, vous portez, il porte ou elle porte. So you probably noticed that the je, tu, il, elle singular and il, elle plural forms all sound exactly the same. Porte. It's only the nous or vous forms that sound different. So nous portons and vous portez. There you have to pronounce the endings. This is the same for any number of regular ER verbs. So take the example chanter, to sing. Je chante, tu chantes. Il chante, elle chante. Nous chantons, vous chantez. Il chante, elle chante. So have a look at another verb. This one's rencontrer, to meet. Have a go yourself. How do you think these ones will be said? Give it a try out loud. Okay, hopefully you came up with something like je rencontre, tu rencontres, il rencontre, elle rencontre, nous rencontrons, vous rencontrez, il rencontre, elle rencontre. Okay, so far so good. Now we come on to some of the ones that can be a bit trickier. In particular, when we're listening, the verbs that begin with vowels can really catch us out. Here's a list of examples. Aimer, adorer, acheter, envoyer, aider, habiter. Okay, it doesn't start with a vowel, but it starts with a silent H, so it's the same difference. Habiter, écouter, étudier. So if we take a really common verb like aimer, to like, in terms of endings, it's exactly the same as the ones we've looked at before. But in terms of the pronunciation, it gets a little bit more complicated. We're really used to hearing the word j'aime for I like. J'aime. You would probably recognize it anywhere. Sometimes it's hard to remember that the word for like is actually aime, and the je means I. So we're really listening out for the sound M, not the sound j'aime. So I like, j'aime. You like, tu aimes. He likes, il aime. She likes, elle aime. Now what you start to notice with il aime and elle aime is that the le from the end of il and elle sounds like the beginning of the next word. So it sounds like the verb is l'aime, not aime. But il aime, elle aime. Now for the second column, nous, vous, il and elle plural, nous, vous, il and elle all end in a silent S. But when the next letter is a vowel, you're going to hear that silent S as a Z sound. So it becomes we like, nous aimons. You like, vous aimez. They like, ils aiment or elles aiment. So again, something like ils aiment sounds a very long way away from j'aime. You've really got to listen out and spot that little M sound in the middle of it. Nous aimons. The M is almost hidden away. And that's why these verbs can really catch people out with their listening. Just listen one more time. J'aime, tu aimes, il aime, elle aime. Nous aimons, vous aimez, ils aiment, elles aiment. So have a look at another example. J'habite, tu habites, il habite, elle habite. Nous habitons, vous habitez, ils habitent, elles habitent. Try not to be put off by the little extra l or z sounds, which seem to be latching on to the verb. So here's an example for you to try. Aider, to help. So it's aider. Have a go. See if you can say it out loud. How would these ones be pronounced? Hopefully you came up with something like j'aide, tu aides, il aide, elle aide. Nous aidons, vous aidez, ils aident, elles aident. So let's give it a go. Test yourself. Can you work out what I am saying? Numéro 1. Nous adorons. Nous adorons. That was we love. Nous adorons. Numéro 2. Il habite. Il habite. That was he lives. Il habite. Numéro 3. Vous écoutez. Vous écoutez. That was you listen. Vous écoutez. Numéro 4. Ils aiment. Ils aiment. That was they like. And numéro 5. Nous aidons. Nous aidons. That was we help. Nous aidons. Okay, the next set of verbs just to watch out for when you're doing your listening are the reflexive verbs. You may have learnt some of these off your vocab list. Some examples: s'appeler, se droguer, se relaxer, se coucher, se laver, se lever, se réveiller, or se doucher. As you can see, they all start with se, be that se or s apostrophe if it's followed by a vowel. The reason these verbs can be off-putting is because if you've learnt se réveiller means to get up, you'll be expecting to hear the se next to réveiller. Reflexive verbs use a reflexive particle. That means that the se changes dependent on who the person is doing the action. So se réveiller, to get up, becomes I get up, je me réveille. You get up, tu te réveilles. He or she gets up, il se réveille or elle se réveille. We get up, nous nous réveillons. You get up, vous vous réveillez. Or they get up, ils se réveillent, elles se réveillent. So you just have to be aware to watch out for those reflexive particles. They can change. They will change depending on what the subject of the sentence is. So here's another example, se laver. Je me lave, tu te laves, il se lave, elle se lave. Nous nous lavons, vous vous lavez, il se lave, elle se lave. So just give it a go. Can you spot these ones? What am I saying? Numéro 1. Je me couche. Je me couche. That was I go to bed. Numéro 2. Il se douche. Il se douche. He takes a shower. Numéro 3. Nous nous droguons. Nous nous droguons. That was we do drugs. Okay, the last set of verbs, short list of verbs, just to be aware of, are some that are irregular. They do have the ER endings. They do follow pretty much the same pattern, but there are slight differences that affect the way they sound. Okay, and the ones we're looking at are préférer, se lever, acheter, s'appeler, envoyer, and payer. We'll look at each one in turn. So starting with acheter. They've all got exactly the same endings that the rest of the ER verbs we've looked at have had. But there is a difference. There's something that makes it irregular. Can you spot what it is? So there's a difference in the accents on the E in the stem of the verb. So the verb acheter, to buy, conjugates j'achète, tu achètes, il ou elle achète, nous achetons, vous achetez, ils achètent, elles achètent. So as you can see, in the je, tu, il and elle singular and il and elle plural forms, the E has a grave accent and so it's pronounced achète. In the nous and vous forms, there's no accent on the E and so it's pronounced and frankly it virtually disappears when French people say it very often. Nous achetons, vous achetez. Now these kinds of irregular verbs are sometimes called boot-shaped verbs because if you take the pattern where the left-hand column and then the bottom one on the right-hand column all follow the same pattern, it's kind of shaped like a boot. So it's like the ones inside the boot will have some kind of change to them, and then the nous and vous forms stay the same as the infinitive. Okay, so here's another example of a boot-shaped verb. So préférer, to prefer, but the accents are changing. So inside the boot, préfère ends with an ERE, and that first E is a grave accent. And then outside the boot, nous and vous forms, there are acute accents on both the two E's, so nous préférons. So listen through. Je préfère, tu préfères, il préfère, nous préférons, vous préférez, il préfère. So it's a small difference, but it does change the way that it sounds. It can be off-putting. So here you've got another example, the verb se lever. Inside the boot, the je, tu, il, elle, and il, elle plural forms, the E has got the grave accent on, so an air sound. Outside the boot, the nous and vous forms, there's no accent, so it's an sound. Have a go. How do you think it's going to sound? Okay, so it should sound something like this. Je me lève, tu te lèves, il se lève, elle se lève, nous nous levons, vous vous levez, il se lève, elle se lève. The verb s'appeler, to be called, which you'll know very well from je m'appelle, it does the same thing, but it does it in a different way. It changes the E sound, the sound of the letter E, by changing how many L's there are. So inside the boot, you've got two L's, and it's pronounced appel. Outside of the boot, there's just one L, and that changes it to more of an appel. So listen. Je m'appelle, tu t'appelles, il s'appelle, elle s'appelle, nous nous appelons, vous vous appelez, il s'appelle, elle s'appelle. Two last verbs to listen out for. This is quite a fine difference, but again, it could be off-putting if you didn't expect it. Verbs that end in YER, there can be a difference between the Y changing to an I. So inside the boot, the letter Y has changed to an I. Outside of the boot, there's still a Y there. Okay, and that slightly affects the pronunciation. So the infinitive is payer, the little y between the pe and the e, payer. and then it conjugates. Je paie, tu paies, il paie, elle paie, nous payons, vous payez, il paie, elle paie. Okay, so just a tiny difference between paie and paye. In the nu and vu, you can hear the y sound. So try it out for yourself. This is the verb envoyer. Envoyer, to send. So have a go. How will it sound with and without the y sound? Envoyer. Give it a try. So it should sound something like j'envoie, tu envoies, il envoie, elle envoie, nous envoyons, vous envoyez, ils envoient, elles envoient. So last one then, give it a go. Can you listen and understand the verbs I'm saying? Numéro 1. Nous achetons. Nous achetons. That was we buy. Nous achetons. Numéro 2. Elle paie. Elle paie. That was she pays. Elle paie. Or it could have been they pay, plural. Numéro 3. Tu te lèves. Tu te lèves. Okay, that was you get up. Tu te lèves. Okay, very good work. Bon travail. If you've made it all the way through to the end of this video, excellent work. Now give it a try, have a go at the quiz and see if you can use some of this information to help you understand the verbs that you're hearing when they're not just in the je form. Bonne chance!